Hi everyone, I'm Rebecca Lynch and I play Lila DeClyde in Progress the Series, and you're watching the Spoiler Alert.
Hey everybody, Justin St. Louis here for the Spoiler Alert. Thank you for tuning in once again. Today I want to talk about a show that premiered last summer. It's called The Silent City, and it takes us on a post-apocalyptic road trip through New York City after an unexplained cataclysmic event has turned the city into a wasteland and reduced the population to one. And that one person is played by lead actor Eric Stafford, who, despite being given very little dialogue due to the nature of the piece, still turns out a phenomenal command performance, really carrying the weight of the show on his shoulders. Creator and self-taught director Rubidium Wu has been heralded for his stunning cinematographic work on this piece. One of the things he does that I really love is that on their website, silentcityseries.com, he includes a bunch of little tutorial videos about how he created his visual effects, as well as some behind-the-scenes videos giving you insights to his thoughts as a director. Plans for Season 2 are currently in the works, but for now, go back, revisit Season 1, check out the trailer.
Only take what you can carry. Only kill what you can eat. Don't make bonds you can't break. Never ask why. Never look back.
I'd like to welcome my guest to the show today. We have the amazingly talented writer-director of The Silent City, Rubidium Wu, with us. Rubidium, how you doing today?
Really good. Happy to be here.
Excellent. I want to jump into the most asked question that we've gotten on Facebook about your show. Where the hell are all the people?
So this brings us back to the the central idea of the Silent City is that no one that's alive knows how everyone died. So it's not as though everyone that survived was somehow isolated. Mm-hmm. Like the hero talks about how he was on a submarine. Mm-hmm. He was on a nuclear submarine. He was below the surface. Otsu, the girl, was in sort of like a hermetically sealed lab. Mm-hmm. Joe, or Victor, the blonde Viking-looking gentleman with a shotgun, was in and this will come out over time, he was in a military prison, like in a secure location. So all the survivors know is that the world ended, that they lost all the power, they lost all communication with everyone, and then over time they kind of made their way to the surface or to the civilization, and then everything was gone. So it's sort of like setting up this progression and this mystery for the rest of the series of how how did the world end? Why did it end? Why did some people survive? Who are the strange creatures in gas masks that live under the surface, the undergrounders as they call them? So yeah, that's the sort of like the mystery that powers the whole show.
Excellent.
So,
and the show is shot right here in New York City.
Yeah.
And you did something unique. You found all these abandoned locations throughout the city. What was that experience like? How did you do this search and find these places? And
yeah, well, it's funny. I live in Brooklyn.
Okay.
I live in Prospect Heights, and from my walk to the subway station, I would walk past maybe a dozen building sites that had been abandoned or houses that had fallen down and sort of been secured, but nothing else had happened with them. Probably as a result of the global financial crisis is when all the credit crunch happened. And some of them are really cool. Like you look through the fences and they're perfect film sets. And that really, as an Australian, as someone who moved to New York and didn't grow up here, I was really surprised that, I guess the foreigner's perspective of New York is Times Square, which is just over there.
Sure.
And it's like lights and bright and millions of people, but the empty New York, the abandoned New York, has such a rich history, and is, we found some great spaces that, for different reasons, have been abandoned, and those reasons sort of like key you into the history of the city and the history of the country, and they just seemed like pre-made to be these wonderful spaces.
It's really it's beautifully shot. I think it's showing a side of New York that people need to see, which is really important. Why do this as a web series?
The great thing about a web series is it's episodic, it's ongoing, it's continuing. So our plan is, we have lots of plans at the moment. We're trying to see how things work out. But one option that we wanted to leave open was going back to Kickstarter to make a second season, et cetera, et cetera. And by doing a web series, you sort of like carry over those fans, that support, all that marketing and fan base building that you've done. You can take it to the next project, to your next thing, and people hopefully will want to see more of the world that we've. If you do a pilot or a feature or a short film, it's sort of like you spend a lot of time getting the effort going, and then it's done, and then you're on to your next project, which may be totally unrelated. But yeah, I would love to see this eventually, of course, get on TV and do a pilot and get it as a cable show and get more budget and explore abandoned spaces all over the country, all over the world possibly. I think there's a lot of places to take it.
I think what we can learn from the Silent City is, this is a show that's shot on a really tight budget, but low budget does not mean low quality.
That's right.
The quality is so high, and I think you guys have been very, very clever in the way that you've done your filming. You certainly have assembled a crew that is extremely knowledgeable. The visual effects in this are fantastic, and I love the little tutorials that you guys put on the website too. Sharing this information with other filmmakers. It's a very sort of open experience.
Yeah, it's not hard. I mean, I'm self-taught as a filmmaker and as a visual effects person. I taught myself Maya and After Effects and combustion and things like that. Just not because I wanted to work in those industries, but because I wanted to understand them as a director, and as I wanted to. And that's coming really handy. Our great things about YouTube is that people like, oh, I can see a car in the background, or I can see this, or his shoes are too new, or she's wearing too much eye makeup. And I mean, I think that's great that people get on, that want to interact and give us that feedback, and we read them all and we take them all really seriously. But it's been great too that so many people. Kickstarter got us the $12,000 that we made the series with, but also brought in so many people that volunteered their time and industry professionals that helped us do things we could never have done within that budget. I mean, the Mill in particular is the post-production facility here. They started in London, but now they have a LA and a New York office.
Okay.
And I went to them with this project and said, this is for the color correction, which you can do technically at home, like on a PC, but it's really the eye of someone who's a really trained professional colorist is why some of these shots, and if the fans want to look at the same shots that appear in the trailer and appear in the actual series once they've been graded, I graded the shots in the trailer and the Mill graded the shots in the series, and it's like night and day. It's like so much higher production value.
Interesting.
But they did it because I went to them and said, here's a series I really love to have you guys involved. Let me know how we can make this happen. And basically, it just meant being flexible. It just meant, and that's why our release schedule, because it kind of like stretched. We wanted to do a episode every week, and then it turned into episode every 2 weeks, with the 5th one coming out this next Sunday.
Is the 5th one the finale for the season 1? Okay.
Yeah.
And then I'm assuming we can expect a season 2.
I hope so.
Okay.
I'm expecting one. We just want to still keep building the fan base and taking this to people that can, and hearing from people that are interested in developing this and taking it further. There's possibility, like I said, of doing a fan-funded season 2. But I'm also talking to a few people about taking this possibly to MIPCon in Cannes, the TV thing, and maybe seeing some places developing a pilot, doing that sort of stuff. Because I think it's sort of the way that it's been embraced by the fans out there is phenomenal and like totally unexpected. We thought we'd get maybe in my wildest dreams like maybe 10,000 people to watch it.
Right.
And I mean, the channel's had over 500,000 views on it so far, and it's like building from absolutely nothing, from the Silent City meaning nothing to people to being taking over the blogosphere. It's still small as far as web series go, but it's growing, and we hope to do many more seasons, and hope to really expand this world and show what these characters are like, and really talk about things like, if you had the responsibility of rebuilding the world, what kind of world would you rebuild? Like, it's the end of the post-apocalyptic thing is usually seen as a really nihilistic, usually like a really like the Road, the movie The Road, which I really like, but I also think you made me want to slip my wrists after seeing it. It's just so gloomy and depressing. I think the idea that you could rebuild the world from scratch, that we sort of like hit the reset button on humanity,
and this is the beginning.
Is tragic with the destruction, but also a new beginning, and what kind of people will populate that world and what that world will become, I think is a really interesting thing to explore.
Interesting. We're just about out of time, but I really want to thank you for talking with us today.
My pleasure.
Folks, keep watching The Silent City. Where can our fans go to watch the show?
You can go to youtube.com/Silent City Series or silentcityseries.com.
Excellent.
Google it.
We'll put a link up on our website, and I just thank you so much for doing this with us. I think that Silent City is quickly becoming sort of the flagship web series model to see what you can do with very little money, but great expertise and a lot of creativity. Thank you. You can catch all of the episodes of The Silent City on their website at www.silentcityseries.com. Also, you can visit their Facebook page for up-to-date information, and don't forget to click like while you're there. And then, of course, while you're at it, you know the drill. Please come visit me on my Facebook page. Leave a comment. Let me know how I'm doing. Let me know what you'd like to see. Follow me on Twitter or post on my YouTube page as well. And as always, don't forget that the only place you can see the newest episodes of the Spoiler Alert is at our home site, www.entertainmentexperiment.com. That's going to do it for this episode of the Spoiler Alert. Thank you so much for your support and for watching. And until next time, I'll be watching the web for you.